Right then, you lovely lot, it is World Cup time, and time for me to make my predictions for the entire tournament from group stages all the way to the final. Now, normally my videos are known for being a little bit more on the statistical side, but today we are going for vibe-centric predictions. I don't know anything about the players or the squads going to this year's World Cup. I've done as little research as possible, and we're going to be going off the cuff who I think is going to win the World Cup. Of course, it goes without saying, if you disagree with my selections, let me know in that comment section down below. Without any further ado, let's start doing some World Cup predictions. Right then, Group A, Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, Netherlands. This is how I think it's going to finish. I think Netherlands are going to top the group. They've got a really good deep squad. The weakest area of their pitch is in midfield, and I'd still argue that's a pretty good squad. Senegal going to go through second. I really like some of the players in that team. Mendy, Koulibaly, Mane up front. It's a really well-rounded one. I think they'll go to the round of 16. And then Ecuador and Qatar to round out the group. Don't really care where they finish. Qatar can get in the bin. I think Group B is a little bit more difficult. I'm going to go for England to top the group. I'm then going to go for Wales to go through in second place. They've got a really well-rounded team. I think I've got a bit of a soft spot for them, with them having the likes of Brennan and Nico in their team at the moment, and I hope they do pretty well. And I'm going to go USA third, Iran bottom of the table. Group C was probably one of the easiest ones for me. I'm going to go Argentina to top the group. I think they're one of the favourites for the tournament. Poland to come in second. Everyone says they're a one-man team. They've actually got some pretty decent individual players in that team that make it pretty well-rounded. I'm going to go Mexico in third and Saudi Arabia in fourth. Again, Saudi Arabia can get in the bin. Group D. I think this one's a little bit more clear-cut than some of the other ones. I'm going to go France to top the group. Everyone's saying they're going to crash down the group stages. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's a very bold prediction to make. I think Denmark are going to come in second. I actually think they could be one of the dark horses to go pretty deep in this year's World Cup. And then Australia, Tunisia, doesn't really matter where they finish. That's the order I've gone for. Group E is probably one of the more difficult groups to predict. We've got Spain, Costa Rica, Germany, and Japan in the group. I think it's going to be a pretty tough one to predict between the two big hitters in the group, obviously Costa Rica and Japan. I think I'm going to go Spain to top the group, Germany to go through second, and Japan and Costa Rica to round out the group stages for Group E. Group F is a pretty interesting one. It's got a really good calibre of squad in there. Belgium, of course, one of the big hitters from last time's World Cup. Croatia, World Cup finalists 2018. Canada going through a real golden generation of talent at the moment. And Morocco, a team not to be slept on, some really good individual talent in their team. I think I'm going to go for Belgium to top the group, Croatia to come through in second, Canada to go through as the third place team, and Morocco to round out the group. Obviously Canada go through, you know what I mean. The penultimate group, Group G, I feel like this one is pretty clear-cut in terms of the team topping the group. We've got Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. And in my opinion, the group is going to shape out with Brazil topping the group, Serbia to go through in second. Again, I think they could be one of the dark horses to have a decent tournament. Got a really well-rounded team, particularly in attack. Switzerland to come third, and Cameroon to go as the final place team. Then we move on to the final group, Group H. In my opinion, the hardest group to predict. I do think it could go in any kind of direction at the end of the group stages. We have Portugal, who have a really good core squad of players who are slightly aging towards the end of their careers. We have Ghana, who have some really good, interesting young talent in their team. We have Uruguay, who have probably one of the best midfields at this World Cup tournament, and Korea, of course, who are definitely not a team to write off. They do have Son, of course, as their main man, but they do have some really good individual players to bulk out that team. In terms of predictions, I think I'm going to go for Uruguay to top the group. I think Portugal will scrape through in second. I think Korea will finish third, and I think Ghana will be bottom of the table. But this will be one of them ones, I think, where it's separated by maybe 2 or 3 points from first to last. The first knockout round sees the winners of Group A, Holland, take on the runners-up from Group B in Wales, and I feel like this is a pretty obvious one. I think Holland are going to go pretty easily past this Wales team, although I think it's a great achievement for them to have gotten out of the group. Next, we have Argentina and Denmark, and I think Argentina will progress through to the quarterfinals. Denmark will give a good innings. I do think they'll be one of the toughest teams for Argentina to face in this tournament, and I think they'll do themselves proud. The winners of Group B, England taking on the runners-up of Group A, Senegal, and I think England will be progressing through that one. Although I do think it'll be a little bit like Colombia 4 years ago, where they do give us a scare and they do really give a good count for themselves, with England obviously progressing through to the quarterfinals. Quarterfinal 4 sees the winners of Group D, France, take on the runners-up from Group C, Poland, and I think this is again one of the pretty obvious ones. I do think France will progress past Poland, but I do think Poland will give them a good match. Like I said in the group stages, they have a pretty well-rounded team. They're not just a one-man team anymore, and France are a team that look on the brink of utter collapse at the moment. The winners of Group E, Spain, take on the runners-up from Group F, Croatia. A really well-matched game, this one. The technical abilities of this Spain team versus what is quite a physical Croatia team with some really good, intricate technical players in there. I do think Spain will progress beyond this, but I think it will be really, really tight, and I think Croatia could take it to extra time and potentially could even cause an upset. The 6th game from the round of 16 sees the winners of Group G, Brazil, taking on the runners-up from Group H, Portugal. In my opinion, the pick for the tie in the round of 16, and I think Brazil are going to edge it. I think this is going to be a really tight game, not a lot in it, and I think it's going to be a really good showcase for some of the young talent in both teams. Round of 16, number 7, Belgium versus Germany, and for me, again, probably one of the picks for best tie in the round of 16. I've gone for Germany to edge it, but it could go either way. Two really good teams, although going through transition. The Belgium team starting to age out that golden generation, and Germany starting to age out some of their older stars, but really starting to bring through some really talented young players into that Germany setup. Hence why I think they will progress beyond the round of 16, beating Belgium in this tie. Our final match from the round of 16 is Uruguay versus Serbia. Definitely an interesting clash of styles. In my opinion, it's probably going to be Uruguay as Group H winners who progress through to the quarterfinals. Serbia will give a good account for themselves. I think this is a team that maybe in the next Euros, I think, which are in Germany, could be a team to watch out for. A really good, talented bunch of young players, but I think Uruguay will just edge this one. It's quarterfinal time, and the Netherlands take on Argentina in the very first quarterfinal matchup of this World Cup. And in my personal opinion, I think it will be Argentina progressing past this very talented Netherlands side. I do think there's some really good players in that team, and like I said, getting to the quarterfinals, definitely no sniff considering they failed to qualify for the last few tournaments. But Argentina, in my opinion, are one of the favourites for the entire whole thing. It's going to be Argentina going through to the semi-finals. The second quarterfinal sees Spain taking on Brazil, and I think Brazil will be the team to progress through to the semi-finals in this one. Not a lot for me to say. I think the Spain team is still transitioning from some of their older stars. I think this Brazil team is perfectly poised to go really deep in this tournament. England and France make up the third quarterfinal, and I've gone back and forth on this one throughout the entire production of this video. I have settled on England being the team to progress through to the semi-finals. I think the injuries picked up in this France squad as the World Cup has got closer and closer will lead to them being a little bit thin on the ground for them to go too deep in their World Cup defence, but I think they will give a good account for themselves, and I think that theoretical collapse that everybody has been talking about that they're going to do in the group stages, I just don't think it's going to happen, although I do think Deschamps will leave after the World Cup. Germany and Uruguay make up the final quarterfinal. Not much to say on this one other than it's going to be quite a tight match. I'm going to go for Germany to progress past Uruguay, and Uruguay to have given themselves a really good account in this tournament. That leaves us with two semi-finals. 4 teams remaining. The first semi-final sees Argentina take on Brazil, and it's going to be a very tight one, this one. In my opinion, this probably would have been my dream World Cup final in terms of the talent on display at this World Cup. Unfortunately, though, how I've got it set up, they end up meeting each other in the semi-final, and I think Argentina are going to edge it. It's going to be super tight, probably go to extra time, maybe even penalties, but I just think it's time. I think it's time that Argentina have a really good crack at winning the World Cup. And then the final semi-final is England taking on Germany. I have gone personally for England to progress through to the final of the World Cup, beating Germany. It could go either way though. If Germany were to win this game, I wouldn't be disappointed. I think a semi-final appearance for England in yet another World Cup is further proof of the progress being undertaken in this squad. I've got England progressing though, and it's going to be an Argentina-England final. Here we are then, the World Cup final, Argentina taking on England, and you have to feel like Argentina are going to be the favourites for this one. And in my opinion, my humble opinion as just a YouTuber on this website, is that Argentina are going to beat England. Argentina, I think, will win the World Cup this year. I think they, alongside Brazil, are the favourites for the tournament this time out. And I think on this occasion, with how I've got things set up, they're going to be the team to lift the World Cup. So what do you think of my World Cup predictions? Of course, they are 100% accurate, 100% correct, and I'm sure you will disagree with none of them. But if on the off chance you do disagree, let me know in that comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like on this video as well, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss some videos I've got planned for the World Cup period. I'm planning on doing some England match previews in the format of the match previews I do for Nottingham Forest in the Premier League, so stay tuned for those. With that being said though, enjoy the World Cup if you're going or if you're watching on TV. I will catch you later.